Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for August 12th through 14th, 2020. How are you doing? Well, wow, we're just in this intense and powerful moment in time with Mars in conjunction to Black Moon Lilith in exact square to Pluto. So Mars wants to move in Aries. It's about being who you really are, expressing your true self, living life force, grabbing a hold of existence, and then tension square with Pluto, breaking down the structures that are not supporting the truth of who we are. And so there's a very interesting energy here because it's about tension, it's about pushing through, it's about breaking down, it's about breaking down the structures, coming up against the walls of our life that haven't been able to yet shift, but they need to. And yet there's also a very sweet energy coming in to support us in this massive ego death release of everything we thought that we knew. And this is kind of this energy. It's like on a collective, you can kind of tap into this feeling of like, we're on the verge. We know that we can't really move forward in our evolution, in the masses until there's more truth. And what's happening for us individually and collectively is that, our whole life, a lot of our structures of our whole existence is based on lies or distortion, right? Like say that we're all using this, internet browsing software that's connected and based on some very, very dark satanic practices. And we're all a part of it. And we're all a part of the satanic ritual now as we put our masks on and subjugate ourselves. So it's a very, very strange time, but also very beautiful energies coming in to support the ego death. So we know that these lies have to be broken down, that the truth needs to be revealed. This is in our life too. So where are you living? What structures of your life right now and how you're living your life are based on lies or distortions or dark distortions? And those are being forced to break down. And in a way, maybe this is the sweet release energy of like, it's almost that uncomfortable feeling of like waiting, where we are, humanity right now, like waiting for this like unknown, uncomfortable feeling of this massive revealing and who knows what and breakdown. And it's like, we're just kind of like, just this uncomfortable feeling of waiting for something and this trepidation. And this energy is kind of like, once it does break down, once it does reveal, then it's like, there's like a release from that tension. And this is kind of the energy we're in right now. It's almost like you can choose where you want to be. Do you want to be in the uncomfortable tension, or do you want to let it fall away, be in free fall, take the ego death and the spiritual blessings that come with it? Anytime we have a loss in our life, there's also a gain, but the gain is also often invisible, right? And the energy that's coming in, the gift, the wealth of it is actually invisible. And so we're hold on to the loss because we've been so programmed that who we are is physical. Who we are is our physical body. Who we are is our possessions, right? And this just can't go on. This Uranus and Taurus energy has a lot to do with changing our relationship to physical form and awakening to our consciousness around physical form and the earth. And this is exactly the feeling of these breakdown of structures and the free fall. And it's like all that's based on a lie or an untruth or a dark distortion in your life is falling apart. That's healthy. It's a good thing. This is the confusing part about Pluto. It's like, it's only breaking down what needs to go. It doesn't break down what's serving you on your true spiritual power. But we have a sweet energy with the sun and trine to Black Moon Lilith today and tomorrow. And So exactly for the same time of this Mars square Pluto, we have this, and we have the sun in trine to Mars and Black Moon Lilith. And so this is saying that the sun in Leo is about shining your light, right? So this is kind of helping us see like, oh, this is to get to a better place. We're not just here. It's hard when you're in these big, massive changes and stuck in between. And excuse me, all you're seeing is the breakdown, you know, to see like, oh, the breakdown is to let the light come in. The breakdown is to base my structures on more truth, more adequate truth, more stability in my life that's based on this awakened relationship to form and to spirit and to earth and to this existence. And that's kind of like, whoa, this is just, we're playing out this play, but it's one little blip of time in a very long, expansive story. And we're so much more than this experience, you know? And so that's what's available, is this kind of, you know, the sun being like, hey, this is about shining and more truth and more light. It's not just about the free fall breakdown. And can we try to find comfort in that ego death place where, you know, because if everything in your life was based on lies and then they start to crumble, it's like, who am I? Right? And that's a big part of what this whole Venus retrograde season was about, just questioning on every level, everything, who you are, what you want, and where you're going. And now Mars, our action planet, is pushing the envelope, saying, let's go, let's do this. Come on. Are we breaking down the structures, or are we going to just sit in the soup? Right? We got like a partially exploded building, some snipers outside, and we're just waiting for the next destruction, right? And maybe right now this astrology is saying, are you a player in the game? Are you getting played? Are you going to stand up and be, you know, grab a hold of this more optimal timeline that's trying to come in and why this is really happening? Or are you going to stay victimized in the corner of the darkness because you can't bear to look at these lies, you know? So we also have Venus in Cancer is very supportive right now. It's kind of an energy of Venus is so relieved to be out of the confusion of Gemini and the thinking things through and the concepts and the mind and the everything. And Venus is kind of like, oh, just I've done enough thinking over the last 4 months for my whole life. And now Venus just wants to rest in the arms of the mother. And because we're still feeling throughout August this beautiful sextile of Jupiter and Neptune, and then bringing the Venus in this kind of release energy and surrender energy of Venus into Cancer. And it's kind of like, okay, the breakdown's happening. It's like almost like that thing that has been causing you so much anxiety and trepidation. And then once it happens and you're moving through it, and then it's like, you know, the surrender to the release and being okay in the unknown and just being like receiving the support, the spiritual support that's available for these shifts and changes. That's kind of this astrology right now. It's just like, there's no going back. You know, we can't go make these structures work for us anymore. And yet we haven't really gotten through the, you know, it's like we know we're in this strange process of how long is it going to take and what does it really look like, and we don't know, and the unknown. But this is kind of like the positive aspects and the intensity aspects right now are saying break on through to the other side, release yourself from this lower ego, use this astrology to your advantage, and rest in spirit. Come back, you know, when we let go of the false structures that aren't actually supporting us, we can find more energetic support, which is actually supporting us. And that's this water energy and this kind of energy of like, you can, that what is actually can support you right now is invisible, right? And we're focusing on all of the visible, tangible things that are just so messed up right now. You know, but the new energy that you're moving into, the new support, the new wealth of our world and the true wealth of this world, what we've just been disconnected from, is energy and spirit and love and comfort and support and like it's kind of saying, yeah, it's a breakdown, you guys. There's no getting away from this, but let yourself be held in the arms of the mother. And so it's a very dynamic time of this exact square. Mars is still moving forward. And square Pluto, it's saying, let's go. Pluto's retrograde. The next time they come together, they'll both be retrograde. And then they'll both be direct when they come together in December. So just an incredibly powerful time of like, it's an intense breakdown, but behind this hidden shadowy darkness is this incredible spiritual light, right? And then once you see a glimpse of that, you're fine with the breakdown process, right? So it's like, let that spiritual revelation in, let yourself stop thinking, let yourself be in the moment, you know, be around running water, nature, very helpful right now. Tap into this Venus energy in Cancer and this sweet sextile and the trine, you know, the sun coming in. It's like the sun, trine, Black Moon Lilith, and Mars is like, this is about an optimal timeline. This is about a more true life. This is about living, you know, instead of the half dead on the way to, you know, just kind of like vacuous, empty existence, you know. And maybe that's part of the world events and everything that's happening right now, is that we have to be shown really clearly that these choices that we have, you know, of staying in the group think and emptying, you know, letting our soul be stolen and fed upon, continue to be that. We've had that going on, right? Or take back your power, live your truth, step up, grab your light. It's like black and white right now. And humanity's being shown, you know, this very powerful but scary picture of where we can go if we want to stay on that negative timeline, you know, but also forcing us to make a deliberate, this energy right now with Mars square Pluto is like, are you in the game? Are you getting played? You gotta make a move. You gotta use this to your advantage. You gotta grab a hold of this dynamic time and be present with it, to allow the breakdown so that you can see the light, so you can be at peace. See, Venus and Cancer is like, just let me be at peace for a minute, right? Like, whew, it's been just a confusing time of thinking and healing and working and figuring and studying. And, you know, it's just like this whole feeling of the supernova soul of like, gets so exhausting, all the healing and the karma and all that. And it's like never ending. Because not only have you been working on your own karma and your own clearing, you've been doing it for the people around you subconsciously and trying to do it subconsciously for the whole planet. And if you're doing healing for the whole planet subconsciously, there's always going to be more to do, you know? And now we're being asked to say, let yourself use, you know, be present, be conscious, be real, be alive, be the spirit life force that you are. And in your deliberate existence, claim that optimal timeline, claim the light coming in, claim that this is all working for you to where you're trying to get to go, even though it feels like everything's working against you, moving into the light, right? And this is the dynamic. The closer you get to freedom from the mind control, from the lower ego, the lower personality constructs, the stories we've been told about who we are, the closer you get to freedom, the more those tentacle energies will pull you back. Every time you'll get a glimpse of that light, of that higher frequency vibration, and they will come and they will find you and they'll pull you back. But then you have to understand why this dynamic is happening. Because when you do step over and establish your higher dimensional frequency, your optimal timeline, and claim your life force back from the control energies, then there's nothing they can do. That's why they grapple so much while you're on the edge. You know, they're going to wait till you get to the edge before they target you. And we're all being targeted right now because we're all on the edge. And this lockdown isn't about a disease. It isn't about all this stuff. It's about trying to, the same story that's been going on since Atlantean time, and trying to hold back and stop spiritual ascension. The social distance is about don't get together and be too happy right now, because this energy, these are square energies, but this Jupiter, Pluto, and Mars coming in, it's about the light trying to come in. This is massive spiritual awakening ascension energies, and it's a very deliberate pressure hold on that, right? Of this, like, stay home, be scared, be in fear, and it's like that's all they can come up with to keep us now, because enough people have broken free from that lower matrix. Now, the deal is that when you repress the light like that, like this started back in Atlantean time, you can suppress it for so long. Eventually, it's going to come back as stronger, and it's like, ooh, a rubber band all the way since Atlantean time, where these conscious souls are finally like, it's not up to you reptilian creatures whether I get to be in the light of spirit that I am, and I came here to be and work for through all of these evolutions, and like, you don't own me anymore. And one by one, when that 100th monkey, enough people step over that threshold and hold this higher vibration, it's game over on the planet. And we're right there. We're right there. And that's what this control energy is about right now. It's like, yes, there's a political story. Yes, there's the lies. Yes, there's the satanic agenda, but it's all really about holding back. And that tells us it's a powerful time for spiritual awakening. And what would it be like right now if we were out at those festivals dancing and singing and celebrating together, and the spiritual activation, the contagion, that's the contagion that's really the problem, is this spiritual activation. It's like, oh, we're moving into a new age. Finally, the light, like finally some energy to work with, finally released from these freaking stories we've been playing out, and healing and releasing and tending to and clearing and all that. And it's like, it's exhausting. And you supernova souls, we're all just exhausted from all of these lifetimes of being beaten down and being in battle with this energy. And what this time is really about is like, that battle is over if you're ready. And so know that, I don't know exactly how we work with these energies as far as like in the system of lockdown, except for maybe putting your attention on the fact that that energy is just building and getting stronger, right? It's like we already crossed over a certain threshold, and this lockdown thing is like the last grip. They're using everything they have. They're demonstrating the power they have over people. They're demonstrating the mind control. They're demonstrating the technological control, but it's a very elaborate, massive amounts of energy going into what? Holding back a natural phenomenon of light as we move into new areas of the galaxy. And that can only go on for so long. And the light, this astrology is like that light. It's just like, it's tension, and it's like building momentum and power, even though it's hidden, And maybe this is about all of the light workers and the white hats behind the scenes throughout time who have held this light for so long. And now it's like we have to go deeper into the shadows and the darkness, but the light is even stronger than ever. And it's going to rubber band. It's going to boomerang, And it's like you can kind of feel that. So if you tap into this knowing in your heart and soul what this is really about, and that it's proof that it's happening, and that you're there on the cutting edge to allow yourself as much as you can, moment by moment, to put your attention there. Our biggest resource in this world, and what they're trying to steal from us, how they steal our power, is through our attention. And so they want us to feel bad, hopeless, and defeated, right? And like, I want off this planet, screw it, we're not getting anywhere. And it's like, so if, and of course we all feel these ways. It's not like you want to suppress these feelings, right? They're there, but it's like, oh, that's lower matrix shit. There it is. It's lower matrix shit. I'm going to consciously take my most precious commodity of my attention, especially as a conscious soul, and all the work you've done, validate this for yourself and take that precious spiritual attention, you as the eyes and ears of God, and put it on this, on the deeper reasons and what's really happening. And I'm seeing like the sun when it just pops over the horizon and there's one little point of light, and put your attention there. And it's kind of like what part of this whole agenda in place, this whole control agenda, is a stagnant energy, right? So the trauma energies keep us recreating trauma and stuck in the past, and not moving forward. But life, the zodiac, the day, the sun, the moon, everything is moving. Everything's been moving this whole time, right? And maybe that's this like timeline alignment that's trying to happen over these 6 months period of time between eclipses. And it's like, bam, get back on the movement, because you can't stop it. That you can't hold back the sun, and that's what they're trying to do. And it's only going to work for so long, and it's ridiculous, really. And maybe you could get in the humor of it in this bigger picture and step into that little tiny point of light and remember and know and hold in your heart. This is connected to who you really are, why you're here, and why you ever came to Earth in the first place. So validating your true soul spirit light, like your spirit, your purpose, is also validating that bigger truth of what's really happening and putting your attention there. These are crucial times. And so the most powerful thing you can do, the message coming in, is to recognize, don't beat yourself up, but recognize when you're in the lower matrix, feeling defeated and disgusted and hopeless and alone. And then be like, oh, right, all this intensity is because of that one spark of light. And that spark of light is the whole sun. It's just not quite here yet, visible for us to see, but I can feel it and I know it. And it's the whole reason I exist. So you can put your attention, put your energy there, and you're winning, because you're putting your attention, your energy, your love, and your consciousness on the truth of who you are, validating this journey you've been on, and validating the ascension process and spiritual awakening. What they want us to think is like, there's no spiritual awakening happening. There's just the same old trauma, same old war, same old divide and conquer, same old us and them, you against each other. And you'll never see how we're actually feeding and controlling on you, right? And so use the power of your attention. And maybe that power, it's hard, it's not easy, right? But when you do that, it validates your power, right? Like, ooh, I have God consciousness. Like, where am I going to put this? And are you going to put it into distraction and running and illusion and delusion and like this, where they want you, which is in this total defeat, hopeless, disconnected, let me off this planet place, right? And then you say, well, my attention, my power, my wealth, my commodity, it's like, we the people have the power. There's so many more of them, and we feed the monster, right? And so then you say, I recognize these lower matrix feelings. Now I'm going to take my commodity, my wealth, and I'm going to go connect with the butterfly or the bird, or I'm going to go and be in nature. I'm going to go talk to a tree. I'm going to go sun gazing. I'm going to hold space in the light of my heart for this spiritual awakening. Put my attention there. Go seek out one other person you can talk to about this. Good luck with that one, right? But this is what this time is about. And no wonder there's so much interference, blocking, contractual fear programming that keeps us from connecting with each other, because when we're together, we amplify this truth and we make it truth, and And this is why you've been surrounded by karmic relationships your whole life that invalidate this truth. You know? It's a simple little thing, but it's kind of like noticing where you censor yourself. Well, I kind of want to say this, but I won't because I don't want to, you know, and we're all in this place of being silenced and muzzled, right? And then being like, oh, this is all like, you can kind of be, work it a little bit, say kind of what you want, and maybe, you know, go towards those energies. But it's like, those structures of your life are never, ever going to, you know, they'll tolerate you, but they'll never truly support you in who you are. And that's why it's such a lonely place when you first, but this is where we are. It's like being asked to have a deliberate commitment, a determined commitment to the bigger truth of who we are. And then the story says, you're all alone. You're just going to be floating out there in the universe. If you choose that, if you want to have people and community and love, then you got to do it our way. It's like, no, I don't have any choices anymore. So I got to go forge the path. You know, and but that forging your path and being present with that isolation program is the first step, necessary step. You can't get around it to get back to your true community and to your spiritual community. And they're there. You guys are all right there. So looking for each other, wanting each other, and yet we've all been in isolated quarantine because of this programming. So right there, this is what's trying to break down for the supernova soul, is this programming around you're going to be completely alone, and you know you won't have any money, you know, nothing will work in your life. It's kind of like this. You can see it metaphorically in the control energies. Like, well, if you don't have a mask and a vaccination, then you can't travel, you can't get a job, you can't go to the bank, you can't eat food. We own you. And this whole system has been set up over hundreds of years to get to this point. You know, just to gradually, just completely give away all of our power. You know, and it's actually metaphorical though, because it's like, come on, this is ridiculous. I know humanity's buying into it right now, but the light is like being held down, you know, and it's about to explode into fireworks, you know. And the fireworks are going to bring some shrapnel, some darkness, some truth, some uncomfortable, you know, breakdown. But you've already been through that. So you can hold space for the people around you as their delusions have to begin to fall away. But here we are, we're doing it, we made it this far, and maybe this beautiful Leo light in trine to Black Moon Lilith and Mars is saying, put your energy there, grab a hold of this reason that you exist. And even saying that, I can feel in the soul group and the program being like, no, that's egotistical. I don't have a purpose. Like, everybody around me thinks I'm just kind of crazy. Like, and it's like, no, you gotta grab this. You gotta grab it. You gotta grab it. Grab your optimal timeline. Grab your attention. Grab your power back. Let all of that shit fall away. And be willing to step into that lonely tunnel, because on the other side is everything that you've been asking for lifetimes that you've been held back from, right? So this rubber band holding us all back is also, it's like when that snaps. So this is part of what's going on for the supernova souls. Like, we've been in this, the tide going out, right? And taking everything out of our lives. It's like, oh my gosh, you know. But then eventually, you know, the law of the universe is that it's got to come back in. What goes up must come down, right? And what happens when that tidal wave of blessings has been kept back, you know, and as you shift your self-worth and you shift your permission and the fear program, you grab a hold of this, and then those blessings, cornucopia of blessings crashing back into your life, how are you going to handle that one, right? It's just as painful and scary as the, you know, esoteric loneliness and the dark tunnel of emptiness. So maybe that's part of what we're being prepared for. But anyway, kind of went off on some tangents there, but thanks so much for being with me. We've got a new moon coming up next Tuesday, new moon in Leo. So a lot about this claiming the optimal timeline, our full expression, our reason for existing, the zest for life, working with this Aries energy. And so a new start for who we really are on that new moon in Leo next week. We're kind of gearing up to that. And we'll still be feeling this Mars square Pluto through that new moon. So it's like making the new moon, it's making the Mars square Pluto about breaking down the false ego so we can step into the higher I. And the higher ego and our God consciousness. So very potent and powerful time. And when you feel like it's like, whoa, everything, like it's caving in and everything's working against you, just try to pull your attention out and put it on why it's really happening and what it's making room for and what we're really doing here. And you have to do that right now by yourself, kind of, right? Take some deliberate will force. And this is Mars activation and getting ready for its retrograde in Aries is activating our spiritual will, our divine masculine, our ability to say, this is what's true for me. I'm not buying into your stories anymore, and I don't care if I'm all alone on an island because there's other islands and other people on their islands, and we're moving the tectonic plates, and we're going to come together and celebrate, and it's going to be glorious, and it already is glorious. You feel that energy. You know, we're working outside of time here. We embody that because it's already happening. It's already here. It's already accessible to us. And that's kind of the energy of grabbing hold of this optimal timeline. So hang in there. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.